Okay, so let's start with Adho Mukha Svanasana on the chair. So, and have a bolster. You know, it's actually Restorative and Pranayama week, so we will do a little bit of breath work later. But push the chair up against the wall, and then you can have the bolster in front of the chair, and then let the head go to the bolster. So all week, I've been talking about the throat and bringing a lot of attention to the throat. So here, just have the head in line with the spine and the face parallel with the floor, the throat soft, the sides of the neck equally long. Back of the neck soft, and cervical spine moving from back to front. Bring your attention to the pit of the throat, where the throat meets the sternum. And let that be kind of hollow feeling. By letting the tongue rest, the tip of the tongue rest on the roof of the mouth. Breath soft through the nose, thighs back. Really work on getting the thighs back. And lift the pubis to the navel a little bit, buttock bones down to the heels. Buttock bones down to the heels, outer hips down to the outer heels. Let the head come down a little bit lower, Yulia. Yes, like that. And then thighs back a little bit more. And then step forward into Uttanasana. You could take the bolster onto the chair and extend forward in Uttanasana, holding the elbows, forehead on the forearms. Keep the active engagement of the legs, outer thighs down to the outer heels, inner thighs roll back, spread the back thighs, inside out. Gripping the quadriceps, press the tops of the thighs back. Once again, bring your attention to your throat. Sides of the neck equally long. Back of the neck soft. Draw the cervical spine from back to front. Soften the throat. Soften the pit of the throat where the throat meets the chest. Kind of a hollow feeling in the throat. And of course, this is where the thyroid and parathyroid glands are located. And so we're bringing balance to the thyroid here. And then take one more breath and come on up. Put a sticky mat on your chair. 4-fold sticky mat on your chair. And then place a blanket. Place a blanket at the foot of the chair. And put a blanket on top of the chair. Okay. So now you can watch for a moment. This is a Viparita Karani Shirshasana. So it's a supported Shirshasana. So with my legs hooked over the top, I extend the trunk back and I descend my head. Until my head is just grazing the floor. Then I place my hands in Shirshasana position. I'll keep the feet at the wall for a little while and pressing the feet into the wall, lengthen the buttocks away from the back waist. And then after a minute or so there, if it's going well, then the legs can go up to a perpendicular angle. Okay? Then to come out, tuck the chin down, slide to the floor, rest. Okay, so that's called Viparita Karani Shirshasana. So have your chair a little bit away from the wall, a few inches, okay, and then have a seat. Hook your legs over the top and extend the trunk back. Scoot down until your head is touching the floor, or touching the blanket, yes. And then interlock your fingers behind your head, Shirshasana hands. That's right. And first, just keep your feet at the wall and keep lengthening the buttocks away from the back waist. Extend the chest toward the chin. This time, so now the head is in a different position. It's sides of the neck long, so from in the inverted position. So here, the thyroid, the parathyroid gets a lot of circulation. And then, of course, the lymph nodes in the throat region kind of drain. Keep the back of the neck soft, the cervical spine moving from back to front. And even though the head is back, to soften the throat so that it's not hardening. Okay, you could try taking your legs straight up to the ceiling. A little bit more toward the center of the room. Yes, like that. So now it's kind of a classic Viparita Karani shape, but of course the variation is that the head is back in Shirshasana instead of chin tucked like Sarvangasana. So it's different from the way we would do it on the bolster on the wall. But really nice for opening the chest, getting circulation to the heart and lungs, and it's a little stimulating for the nervous system, sympathetic nervous system, awakening, bringing circulation, sharpening the senses. Those are some of the things that Shirshasana does. So if we've been indoors, like we've been talking about, if you've been indoors, you've been sitting at a desk, sitting in one room, and this helps to kind of awaken and stimulate the nervous system. Now there's kind of a diaphragm. In Iyengar Yoga, we call it the throat, the throat diaphragm. It's also the throat chakra. And there's kind of a diaphragm there that's like an energy gate at the throat. So even though there's all this circulation coming back into the heart and lungs, the venous return, the head should stay relatively quiet. And the valves are such that we don't, the blood doesn't just pool in our brain. The blood flow is still regulated throughout the body, even when we're upside down. We do enhance the blood flow, the venous return, specifically the venous return of the legs, the blood coming back down through the veins into the heart region. But but there are controls throughout the body so that it doesn't just like drain or gush into the brain. All right, so now from here you can bend your legs, bring your feet back, and then release the interlock, and then tuck your chin and slide all the way down to the floor. You can push her into the chair and slide down. And roll to your side. So now you can keep this setup, but now we have a bolster at the base of the chair, and we'll take chair Sarvangasana. So chair Sarvangasana, is kind of a counterpart to Shirshasana. In old school, they call it the king and the queen, or the mother and father. It's very sort of gender norms, but yeah, they represent the different energies of the poses. And so this is the more feminine aspect. So this is chair Sarvangasana. All right. So you can go ahead. We've done this pose many times. All right, so sliding to the head side. First the head will touch the bolster, then you tuck your chin and get your shoulders onto the bolster. Yeah, head on the floor. Come a little bit more toward the head side. Let the head come to the floor. Yes, that's right. And then up with your heels. Yeah. Just the tailbone on the chair. So in contrast to Viparita Karani was more of a classic back bend shape, and chair Sarvangasana is more of just a slant, more of a Tadasana shape with a slant. So the chair is supporting you, but it's not a back bend. So here the effect on the throat is very different, right? So in Shirshasana, the head is back, and it's stimulating, awakening to the nervous system. In Sarvangasana, the chin is down, and the effect is quieting and calming for the nervous system. So that's why they're considered partner poses. And they say each time you do Shirshasana, you should do Sarvangasana to balance it out. If not Sarvangasana itself, then some pose like Sarvangasana, like Setubandha, Viparita Karani, something that has this head shape of the chin coming down. So now what we're doing with the throat is the opposite of what we've done so far. What's happening is the Jalandhara Bandha, so this throat lock, chin lock, chest coming to the chin. So now there's a little compression in the throat region. A length through the back of the neck and a slight compression in the throat region. And so that compression is intentional to bring circulation to the thyroid, parathyroid, to naturally turn the senses inward, to kind of drain out the sinuses. This is one of the best poses for the respiratory system. To withdraw the temples, quiet the eyes. All those things kind of happen naturally with the Jalandhara Bandha. You get the same Venus return to the legs that you had in Shirshasana. So both these poses, the last two poses, are just excellent for the immune system. And then, of course, the thyroid and parathyroid also affect the immune system. I have to look up all the different things that the thyroid, parathyroid do. I know it's involved with so many different functions. but I can't rattle it off the top of my head right now. See that the eyes are withdrawing toward the back of the skull and kind of gazing inward toward the chest. So this sort of closing off of the senses is very one of the reasons why we do this pose. Now I'm just going to read you this quote by Gita. I've been reading it to all the classes because it's so beautiful and it's so interesting. So I'll just read it out loud so then you can kind of contemplate it for the last minute or so in this pose. Gita says, the throat as such is not an empty area. The thyroid and parathyroid glands exist there, which easily get affected with worries and anxieties. We need to keep the throat in a thoughtless state. It is again a pharyngeal and laryngeal area, a complicated area, a place for storage of desires. It is like a well which has to be cleared. The well is full of water. The throat is full of desire for food and anxiety. If you realize the depth of the throat, the hunger and thirst both vanish. Desire also lessens. So there's a lot that we've been talking about this week, which I won't get into all of it right now because we only have half an hour. But you could take that quote kind of into your meditation in the pose. So now, bending your legs. Push away, slide down. And then sit up. So we'll do a little bit of breath work. So let's see. Let's have the bolster. We can get rid of the mat and blanket. Let's put the bolster here on the chair and sit through the chair backwards. First, let's do some Bharavajasana here. So pressing the heels into the feet of the chair, knees pointing forward, make sure the buttock flexors move back. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, and then exhale, turn to your right. So holding on to the top of the chair, spread the chest open, lift the sternum from bottom to top, head back. Still that quietness that in the throat, the length and the size of the neck. Keep your chin centered with the center of the chest. The chin in line with the center of the chest for now, so that the neck can be kind of neutral, throat can be kind of neutral. And then instead, turn the rib cage, turn the shoulders. Let the gaze be steady at eye level, but not to drop your head. And then release. Almost always when we're sitting at a desk, our head is slightly dropped, And it's not that big a deal until you get up and you realize, oh, my neck is hurting. So even just like a little drop of the neck, it's a 12, 13-pound bowling ball that we're carrying here. And so even a little drop of the head can be a strain on the neck. So inhale, lift the chest. So here in Bharavajasana, counteract that effect. Keep the chin centered with the chest, eyes on the horizon, or a little bit above. The eyes can be a little bit above the horizon so that to make sure that the head isn't dropping. And then turn the rib cage, turn the shoulders, turn the chest. And release. Hold the back of the chair, hold the back of the bolster with your hands. Pull on it, bend your elbows back, lift the chest and look up. So kind of like a back bend in the upper back and shoulder region. And then bring your head neutral. Now holding the sides of the chair. Holding the sides of the chair, press the heels into the feet of the chair. Draw the shoulders down, draw the outer elbows down. Push down and in with your hands in order to lift the frame of the body. And then exhaling, bring your head down into Jalandhara Bandha. So now it's like a shoulder stand position with the head. But keep the shoulders back and the spine lifting, lifting, lifting. So the head will just come down about 45 degrees, maybe not even 45, maybe 30 degrees, but definitely not 90 degrees. You know, so the face is not parallel with the floor, face is still kind of diagonal, gazing at the floor in front. And then from here, close your eyes. First, just take a few normal breaths. Because the frame of the body is so expanded and elevated, the normal breath will be a little more expansive than your resting breath. And then from here, on your next exhale, exhale a little longer, a little deeper. Then inhaling, feel the chest expand to receive the breath. Bring the breath all the way up to touch the throat, diaphragm, the pit of the throat. And then release it downward, gently release it downward. Let it come all the way down into the pelvic basin. Navel back to the spine to help empty the lungs. And then start your next cycle. Inhaling, feel the breath rising. Expand the chest to receive the breath. Coil the armpits from back to front, shoulders back. Bring the breath all the way up to the pit of the throat. And then gently release it downward. Few more breaths this way, and I'm just going to offer an image, and that is to picture like kind of, you know, like when a balloon is losing its helium, how it'll drop down and then let it kind of bounce off the pelvic basin, and then inhaling, let the balloon rise up, up, up. The balloon still has enough helium to come up and touch the throat diaphragm, touch the pit of the throat. And then let the balloon back down. But it floats down. It's not like a ball. It floats down. And then when it touches the pelvic basin, there's a little rebound and it goes back up. So a little bounce and it goes back up. Feel the chest expand to receive the breath. And feel it coming all the way up, like right to the pit of the throat. And then it'll kind of hit the ceiling and then start to come down. Do 2 more breaths like this. 2 more Ujjayi. From the pelvic basin to the pit of the throat, up and down. Keep the firmness of the arms and legs to keep the frame of the body steady. The container, the vessel for the breath. And when you finish both cycles, then keep your eyes closed and bring your head up. Balance your head at the top of the spine when you're done. Sit neutral for a moment. And then inhale, exhale, lean forward onto the bar of the chair. Now lean forward until your rib cage touches the bar of the chair. And then you can let the arms hang a little. Maybe the wrists or the elbows can come to the knees. And then let the head round down now. Let the head round down. And let the upper back round a bit. So you're kind of just draped over your chair. And then come back up. Push down with your hands, lift up, look up to the ceiling. Lift the chest to the ceiling. And then come back to neutral. All right, so then lie down for a few minutes. Let's lie down in Setu Bandha. So like this, so the bolster's gonna be here, chair here, and then scooting back until the shoulders touch the floor. The legs will be on the chair, okay? So here's your Shavasana. And then to come out, you slide out. The bolster, yeah, the long way. Good. That's right. You send the shoulders and then rest the calves. So big open chest, throat soft, just send the chin. Just soften the hinge of the jaw, release the hinge of the jaw. Let the back of the neck lengthen. Do a little adjustment like this. Hold the back of your skull with your hands. And then hook your thumbs on the rounded part of the back skull, it's the occiput. And then drag the occiput away from the neck so that the chin comes down some more. So the back of the neck lengthens. And then release your hands. To get the back of the neck to really be long and the throat to be really soft. So you could stay here as long as you want. I'm officially ending the meeting, but you can just stay and come out when you are ready. So I hope you have a wonderful day and see you soon.